everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a fun topic and it's all about rainy day reads. I got inspired to do this video because it's not raining, but it looks gloomy and it's about to rain. And so I just got cozy, so I lit a candle and I surrounded myself with rainy day books, and so I want to share some with you all. I kind of have a big list and these are all mainly like fantasy, historical fiction, and thrillers and mysteries. So I think this will be very atmospheric, and that is what I think about when I think of a rainy day read. I think of atmospheric books that just put me completely in another world automatically. It doesn't take too long to get into the world. The first book I have is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I love this book. This is probably one of my favorite books I've ever read. It is so completely atmospheric. This book is about two rivals who compete against each other in the form of this night circus. So people who are not involved in magic, they think it's just a circus, but it only appears at night. But to the magicians, it is a competition and a rivalry between two people, Celia and Marco. But the thing is that they fall in love. And so this book goes through their competition and their rivalry and just their story on that. Now, I have actually wanting to reread this because it's so good. I read it in 2 nights. I read it during Booktubeathon, and so I feel like I read it too fast and I just didn't really soak it in as much as I wanted to. So I've been thinking of rereading this. Maybe I should, maybe soon. The next book is a recent read, actually. I just finished reading this last week, and this is Keira Ball by Stephanie Garber. This book reminds me of The Night Circus in some ways. This is about kind of the same thing. It's kind of like a game or a competition, and in this story, the game master, every year he puts on this performance, and it's meant to be just a performance, but some people take it too far. And so in this particular performance, the game master, he kidnaps one sister, because there's 2 sisters, and they kidnap them, and the other sister has to find her before someone else finds her, and before something happens to her. So yes, it's so descriptive. It right away put me into the world. I remember telling my husband it read like a fairy tale. I just didn't want to put it down. I felt like a little girl reading it. So yes, this is another rainy day read. The next book I have kind of borders between fantasy and historical fiction, and that is The Little Shop of Found Things by Paula Braxton. This book takes place in modern day and then /16th century. Basically, this girl finds a ley line, and so she's able to travel back and forth between time. She finds a ley line, and she's also part, not psychic, but she's able to touch antique objects and feel their past. Well, she travels back in time and she finds out there's some sort of conflict between a woman in the past day, and she also falls in love. So yeah, this is just a really atmospheric book. It put me in the mood to just have coffee and sit and read it all day with a blanket. Okay, so I only have one book for the historical fiction category, and that is The Fortune Hunter by Daisy Goodwin. I love all of Daisy Goodwin's books, but this one in particular, I just think, when I was reading it, I just pictured it being in the rain. I'm not exactly sure where it takes place, but it takes place somewhere in Europe, and I just imagined it always being rainy in the town. I want to say it's London, but I'm not really sure. But you know, London's always rainy, and so I just pictured all the characters being submerged in rain all the time. And this is kind of a romance, what is it called? Historical romance. This is about a woman who is extremely wealthy, and she gets involved with this man who, or she becomes interested in this man who some people say that he just dates or marries a woman for their wealth. And so it's their story on that, and I loved this book. It is actually inspired by a true character, and she was an empress. And yeah, I loved this book. I also want to reread this book soon. My next category is thriller/mystery, and so I have a couple books from there. The first one I have is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I read this last summer, and I actually flew through it. It's very short. This is a really dark novel. It's extremely, it could be maybe like triggering for some people. This is about a reporter who has to return to her hometown and kind of, I guess, find out what's happening with 2 missing preteen girls. but she has to go back to her mom's family and her mom's house, and her mom don't really have a great relationship, and her mom also has a younger daughter who's a lot younger than she is. So it just deals with like family issues, but it's also just really disturbing, and so I always kind of just imagine it, I mean, dark and rainy and kind of scary. The next book I have is Reliant Game by Ruth Ware. I actually read this book on a road trip, and so I kind of want to reread it too. I read it on a road trip on an audiobook, and then we didn't finish it by the time we get home, and I bought it and I finished like the last couple of pages that we had left. The setting of this book actually has a very rainy type of setting. It's very marshy grounds, and I want to say at one point they're also like stuck in their house because the water has risen up or something like that. This is about a group of young girls. I want to say it travels, or the perspective shifts from the past to the present, I want to say. And this is about a group of girls who are high school friends, and there's a secret that they know about, and they has to do with the murder, and they don't want to tell anyone about it. So the next book I have is a mystery. This is Agatha Christie's 1-2, buckle my shoe. I love Agatha Christie's mysteries. I also especially love her Hercule Poirot book. So like if you look on the spines of her books, it'll have like who the detective is, and I prefer the Poirot mysteries. I just think I love him so much. I always want to know what he has to say. And her books are very short. You can read them in a day. This one in particular is about the murder of a dentist. There's no way I can describe these books. You just have to read them. I never know who the murderer is. She's always so good at, you know, kind of weaving it into the plot. She also has another book, which is the And Then There Was None, and then the Orient Express one. There was a movie about it. But these I find I like a lot better. You can't really see the cover maybe. Oh, there, you can see the cover here. So yes, I always recommend Agatha Christie's mysteries. And the last book I have to recommend is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Keira Maniscalco. This is a mystery, I want to say it's a YA, and it takes place in London, and it's about a mortician, and I want to say his niece, or she's the niece of a mortician, and so she knows all about body parts and dead bodies and all of that, and so she is trying to find who Jack the Ripper is, and it's just so good. I love this, and I actually want to read the second and third novels of this series, and so yeah, I love this book. It's just, I mean, it takes place in London. It's about Jack the Ripper, so yeah, really good. Okay, so those are all of my rainy day reads. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what books you like to read during the rainy days. I know some people have different opinions on, you know, what a rainy day read is, but I personally think it's when, you know, the book has kind of a dark setting and yeah, lots of mystery. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you later. Bye.